So is it that, are we referring here all the gods as aliens?
In essence, most of the Hindu gods are that, yeah. In modern terminology, we would say they're
Like
aliens.
extraterrestrial coming from outside Earth,
Extraterrestrials,
that's
but
it.
yes.
Okay.
And we see the same terminology actually.
How do we say that aliens are shape-shifting, and how do we see that in humans and in our lives as well? How do we make that claim?
We don't say that. We don't. We don't normally say, for example, gray aliens or shapeshifters. We only see that with Nagas. We only see the shape-shifting tendency with the Nagas, who are underworld reptile-like beings.
Do we see reptile-like beings being carved in the temples? We must have. Where do you see is this as one of the biggest proofs of reptiles being the gods, or reptiles being seen as maybe a kind of a mysterious being?
So it's a long subject, but if you say, for example, the Nagas are the core reptile beings that are mentioned in India, in Egypt, in Middle East, Israel, and all those places. Okay, so the Nagas are everywhere. They're carved in almost all the temples. They're carved all over the Angkor Wat. In fact, that is the very first thing you will see before you enter any temple, including Angkor Wat. In any Cambodian temple, the first thing you will see is the Naga. It's not any other deity. It's actually a multi-headed snake. We always say there's like a 3-headed Naga, like a 5-headed Naga, a 7-headed Naga. I just found a 9-headed Naga in Cambodia. And it's shown all over the temples. And we have a separate Naga corner in most of the temples of South India. This is very popular in Kerala. It's called Sarpakau. There's just nothing. There's just a bunch of Naga statues. In many temples of Tamil Nadu, you'll find Naga statues everywhere. And under the trees, you'll find statues of Nagas. And most of the women come and they worship the Nagas. And this, of course, just ties in with the popular, I think in Bollywood, it'll be like the Nagini and all that stuff, But it's still very popular there. Now, if you come to Kanchipuram, there's a temple.
Mm.
Now, again, I want to say that it's not just related to the snakes. In Kanchipuram, if you come to a temple, you'll find a lizard. You'll find 2 lizards, actually, a silver lizard and a golden lizard. And you'll see people lining up in queues to touch them and worship them. In, again, another temple in Andhra Pradesh, there's another temple that also worships lizards. So this kind of, the way you want to think of this is that for us, we just see the good in everything.
Right.
Right? And we know that the Nagas exist in the underworld, according to ancient texts.
What is this Blythe Intaglios? What's
Blythe Intaglios?
What's that?
Oh, there's a place called Blythe in the US. And there are carvings. Like you'll see, it'll just appear like lines. I don't know if you've heard of Nazca lines. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of Nazca lines? Okay, good. So we have similar lines in the US as well, in a place called Blythe. This is a kind of a small town in the US. We do some research on it. If you go at the ground level, you don't see anything, right? It just look like lines. But if you take a drone or if you take a helicopter and if you fly above, you can see various figures.
Figures of?
It'll look like extraterrestrials. It'll look like humans. It'll look like animals. You'll have various figures, but they're all only visible from the sky. Same thing with Nazca lines. If you go to Nazca, this is kind of a desert in Peru. So if you go to Nazca, You can walk in the desert and you just see like, oh, some guys have just made lines, right? But if you take a plane and if you go about, you'll see amazing, like giant spiders, giant monkeys, giant, like there's an astronaut. It's actually called the astronaut. It was like looking like an astronaut pointing to the sky, right? But these were called carved, like kind of, these were scratched many centuries ago.
Yeah.
But think about it, right? Why were they created? Right? If you would you kind of make some good artwork and just put it in a locker and never show it to anybody? Right? If you're like a pretty girl, would you put all the makeup and lipstick and then go to sleep? No. You want to be seen by others, right? That's the whole idea of creating something, right? But the Nazca lines, nobody can see the Nazca lines unless you're flying in the air.
Right.
So why were they created many, many centuries ago? So and the same thing, like these. So the way to think of this is to kind of put everything in a perspective and say, why were they created, right? Who would see them? Why? Who's going to see the Nazca lines? Tell me, who's going to see the Blythe intaglios 500 years ago?
And for what?
Yeah. So there are many, many mysteries like this. There are many, many unsolved mysteries like this. We have a carving of a rocket ship in Mahabalipuram. It looks like a rocket. Okay. And nearby, there's a giant, perfectly drilled circle, like made of granite. It looks almost like a launching site. You can take the rocket and put it in the
Right.
in the circle. So we have many, 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 many strange, unexplained mysteries all over the world. I'm lucky to visit, many of them. I visited the Nazca lines. I visited the Blythe intaglios. We did some work in 2024. We did some work in Blythe intaglios, I think. 2025. But India is actually the home of all these mysteries. If you go to Kailasa Temple, Ajanta Caves, that's another amazing ancient structure. Like, it's insane. The Ellora Caves is known for its sculptures, and Ajanta Caves for paintings. Amazing painting. It's impossible to explain the beauty of it. All the stories painted, and it's a very remote location too. It's full of amazing paintings.
So do you think in the future aliens would maybe take over the earth?